It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, you made it to the weekend. I made it to the weekend. We made it to the weekend. Thank God it is a Friday edition of the Geno Jones Show, live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. What's happening, everybody? Thank you for watching. Please tell everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I only need about 55 new subscribers to become a YouTube partner. That means that YouTube will monetize my channel and my media company. So tell everybody to subscribe right away, to share this and every episode, to like. Be sure to click on the thumbs up, like. Leave your comments in the comment section. So you say subscribe and share, like. You can do a screenshot, grab some of the video, make it go viral, and just spread the word. And tell everybody, this is Must See TV, Must See Monologue. Once again, Monday through Friday. I got to thank and big shout out to the Geno Jones Show. It's brought to you by CojoLLC.com. CojoLLC.com. Courtney Johnson, if you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, from Charleston up to Columbia, anywhere. Let's see. We got Charleston, Columbia. We got like a North Augusta, South Carolina, because there's like Augusta. Y'all didn't know, like North Augusta is in South Carolina too. So, but Columbia up to Greenville, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, Beaufort, or in the Carolinas, and Charlotte, Charlotte, and Raleigh, Raleigh-Durham, just at Greensboro, Wilmington, just all Asheville, all throughout the Carolinas. So give Courtney a call. 843 is the area code. 543-4022, 843 area code 543-2022. And if you would like to be a sponsor, it's so important we support Black-owned media, so I would be honored to have you as part of the Geno Jones Show family, so you can be a sponsor or advertise. Reach out to me. Use my email address, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell my name right there, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. You got that? And if you would like to support the show financially, with financial support or financial gift, you could do that one or two ways. You can Zelle your financial support using my email address that I just gave you, Geno Jones Show, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. That's Zelle, or you can Cash App your support, financial support or gift, using Cash App, $ Dad G Jones, $ capital D, lowercase a d, capital G J, lowercase O-N-E-S. All one word, $ Dad G Jones, all one word, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. All right, so the weekend's here. Man, let's have a great weekend. I hope that you unplug. Whatever you do, make sure you unplug. It's been a crazy, crazy week. There's been a lot going on. We are still calling for the holiday blackout with so much crazy stuff going on. Sometimes you got to just extract yourself and extract your money, extract yourself out of the economy. That means shut it down. So, forget Black Friday. It's going to be a black holiday. We're not spending no money. It's going to be a different kind of blackout, like an eclipse. The best way to get people's attention with money and power is to dig in their pockets. And really, the best way to get Orange Hitler's attention with all the criminal enterprise, with all the fascism and misusing the military. You got these Nazis running around with primarily ICE, these ICE agents / Nazis, new American Nazis disguised as ICE agents and other federal law enforcement, snatching people off the streets, snatching people and children and babies out of their apartments in the middle of the night and zip tying them and having little babies on the south side of Chicago zip tied, sitting in trucks naked. So The way to shut this shit down, and the way to get your boys' attention, the people that's got money and power, you go dig in their pockets. All right. And there's been a lot of talk about this betting scandal, this NBA betting scandal. Now, it's involved, as we know, one current NBA player, two former NBA players. One is a head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, and one was like this unpaid assistant for the Lakers a couple years ago, a guy named Damon Jones. Now, Chauncey Billups and I think maybe Damon too, they somehow got caught up with five of the current mafioso de la Costa Nostra families, what Genovese and Lucchini, I don't know. Anyway, our legal expert is going to be on, so he'll probably cover some of that. My man Sean Mitchell. So we'll just cover some of that. But I want you to make sure that you unplug, because it is so important that we take care of our mental and physical health. So get out, exercise, take a walk, go to the gym, get on the treadmill. If you like to swim, go swim, ride a bicycle, whatever it is, go ahead, lift some weights, throw some cardio in there, do some crunches, or like I said, get a good walk in, 2-3 mile walk in, and just kind of unplug from everything. Because you got to take care of your body, but you got to take care of your mind, because the mind controls everything, including your body. You got to take care of your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. So just make sure you unplug. So my man Sean Mitchell, my brother by another mother, our legal expert, is ready to go. Got his gear on. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's bring him on camera right now. Very familiar face. Brilliant brother. Part of the Geno Jones Show family. Part of my family for real. Because DNA don't make you family necessarily. DNA means you share DNA. But DNA don't always make you family. But this is
that's true. That's very true.
Honored to have him. I know this weekend is a big homecoming weekend for a lot of the HBCUs, and I'm sure he's going to talk about that. But without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Sean Mitchell. What's up? What's happening, family?
Hey, what's going on, Geno? How you doing?
I'm good, man, and I'm always doing better when I get to see you. So, kind of our weekend review. I know we had like a little pre-show text, pre-show meeting via text. And I want to make sure that everybody kind of unplugs from everything. But I got to shout you out on camera. It's clearly you've been listening and watching some of my monologues lately. I love your posts on Facebook, and basically, in your own words, you just kind of reinforce what I've been calling for. Like a holiday blackout. I said, listen, something is that your man Orange Hitler Trump canceled Christmas because he spent all the money, he took it away, so people won't be able to have SNAP benefits. Their EBT cards are going to be declined. 42 million people next week. This time next week, he's taking away health care for 20 million people. The subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. So you were paying $300 a month for a health insurance plan for your family. Now it's $1,000. And you've got family on Medicaid, they're losing their health insurance, Medicare. But somehow Argentina can get $40 billion, and Elon Musk gets $8 million a day of our taxpayer money for his businesses and government contracts. So I could go on and on and on.
Right.
And then this whole interesting timing from Cross-Eyed Cash Patel, Mr. Director of the FBI, in terms of this story about some NBA a player, really two former players, a head coach, a former unpaid assistant coach, and a current player. But it's kind of ironic, and you can speak to that, give us your legal perspective, because this is an investigation that started almost 3 years ago. And it's just ironically the week um, the week of the opening of the NBA. So this is
Hmm.
the uh, the season openers all across the league just happen to be the same week that the FBI has this big grandiose press conference. So I digress. So my brother, listen, I am going to like Magic throwing an alley oop to James Worthy back in the day, or Byron Scott, wherever you want to start. I'm going to just toss you the mic and let you bless us with your perspective.
Okay, so I guess the first place I would probably start is let's start with the NBA because it is Friday. Uh yeah, the FBI swept up um five former and current one current player, one current coach. That current player is Terry Rozier with the Miami Heat. Now, I think the best way to look at it is you have to separate because they're not all the same crimes. Chauncey Billups was involved in a illegal rigged poker. First of all, the poker matches were illegal, period, that he participated in. But then there became an illegal rigging thing that went on with, and I'll talk about that a little later. But let's start with Terry Rozier because Terry Rozier is right now in the league
Yes.
and had influence over games. So basically, what was found out was that there are roughly 9 games. Not all of them games he played in, but games where he knew insider information. For instance, if you're into sports, like I'm into football, um, all these sports leagues release injury reports. And if you are involved in sports, whether you're betting on it or not, even before there was legal gambling, there's always been a line on games. What does that mean to the person that doesn't know anything about gambling? Basically, in Vegas, where you can gamble on everything, they publish the lines, the odds of a team winning. It's so diverse now with betting because in many states it's now legal to sports gamble. People can bet on how many points a particular player is going to have or assist if it's in football, touchdowns, interceptions. They have different parlays. You see
And
them,
those
and when I
and
say
prop.
parlays,
Let me pause you. Those are called prop bets.
prop
So he
bets,
just explained to you when you hear that term. Oh,
prop
what's a prop bet?
bets.
That's what he's
Parlays are
explaining.
when there's multiple bets that allow you, if you hit all three or two or whatever it is, you win multiple pools of money. So now gambling is basically legal in the majority of the states to bet on sports. And, anytime anything's been illegal, we can go back to I grew up with my grandparents, but before we had these state lotteries, in the black community there was something called running the numbers or
Policy.
policy.
Yep.
And it was
Lou
basically
Slip.
it was
Louie.
basically based off of what the horse numbers were and the different things. That's how they came up. And so the government co-opted that by creating lotteries at the same time, similar to what's going through with marijuana now. Marijuana at one point was a legal drug in the majority of states, and now I think the majority of states either have medical or recreational, like Illinois does. And so the government always figures out a way to make money off illegal activity. And let me add this. Let me add this. This is important. Back in law school, when I had a federal income tax class, the first thing that you learn is Section 61 of the IRS code. What does that say? All income is taxable. Now, I know you're listening. What does that mean? If you get money and you're paid for services or you connect money that benefits you, the government can tax it. So that means illegal gambling. You make money off of it. You win at that poker game on Friday night with you and your boys. What makes that poker game illegal is the fact that the state or the federal government can't get their share out of your winnings. And so, this is how people get caught up. Look, they didn't catch Al Capone for
Murders.
murders and liquor
Yep.
running. They
Yep.
caught him for violations of Section 61. All income is income to be reported to the government to be taxed. If you don't do that, you open that self up. So I'm sure within those charges that they're being charged with the illegalities of gambling and the nuance, that they're also probably being charged with tax evasion. Let me also add this: while you cannot write off your student loans, you can write off gambling losses.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
I
yes,
did not
that
know
is
that.
a yes. I learned that
Isn't that back? Isn't that ass backwards? You
yes,
can't
it
write off
is.
student loan,
It,
but
it
you
it
can write
very
off gambling
you
losses.
can write off gambling
Wow.
debts,
I
and
did not know
so
that. That is.
so gambling in reality is big business outside of Vegas at this point, or Atlantic City, or when you go to the boat. Gambling is on your phone now. I mean, you can bet on sports. And if you go to Europe, you can bet on things like presidential elections. You can't do that here.
But
But
point some,
it, you know,
but Sean, point this out. I'm stopping you because you just said something, and I wanted to really amplify and point to the hypocrisy and the bullshit. You
hmm
just talked about sports betting is
hmm
legal in America.
hmm
Not only is it legal, all the major leagues have partnered with gambling companies. ESPN Bet, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesar Sport, Kevin Harding commercials with all of
hmm
them. They were doing stories about this whole
hmm
incident that happened, with John, all this NBA, this gambling scandal with the
hmm
mafia, and then they running damn ESPN Bet and FanDuel commercials right out of the.
well,
And not to mention Tim. Remember Tim Donaghy, Tim
hmm
Donaghy, former
hmm
NBA referee. He admitted to
yeah.
betting on games and
hmm
took cash payments. He bet
hmm
on games that he was refereeing
Yeah,
back in
and Pete
2006 and
Rose bet on
2007.
games. He was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, gambling has always been an issue, and just as a sports fan, I always find it troubling that those two were allowed to kind of commingle. Now you listen to sports talk, they're talking about gambling. Now, when it comes to the actual players and their families, that gambling is off limits, at least in the reference to sports. Chauncey Billups' situation is a real unique and different situation. And that kind of brings this cloud of what I suspect and I see on the internet that is targeting the NBA. But if you look back into baseball, just from this past season, there's probably five or six players that have been suspended or removed for gambling. Shohei Ohtani, although he didn't gamble,
Right.
his interpreter
Yes.
was involved in a gambling scandal. I know from listening to sports talk and having a few colleagues in sports talk that they are not allowed to gamble on teams that they cover.
Oh, really?
If you're a Bears beat reporter, you can't be gambling on the NFL. And I think that has a lot to do with it's similar to insider
Yes, I
trading,
was just about to say that.
which
Yep.
at the same time, I get the critical thinking argument that Congress can inside trade, but
Blackballing people.
NBA personnel can't bet on NBA games. I kind of see that as the same thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I think between the two of them, I don't know any of the evidence. I haven't really. I've probably read no more than people that are really into this have read. Terry Rozier has shown a pattern because this is not the first time. So he's probably done in the NBA and facing probably some criminal jail time. Chauncey Billups is in a different situation because then it comes down to outside of participating in illegal poker games, were you involved in the conspiracy to cheat? And I don't know. I'd like to believe outside of some kind of addiction or a problem that NBA personnel. I mean, you got more to lose because he's a basically a Naismith winner, possibly NBA Hall of Famer. That's probably gone now, and well, it's poker, so that's why I don't think the two merge. I think it shows more of a possible gambling addiction
I thought about
than
that too.
criminal activity.
Because it got
I,
caught up with the mafia, so that's a
you're right,
whole
and
different.
there's a whole lot
So
there.
you
And
don't
so
know
until
what
I
kind
know
of
more,
what they may have had on him personally, or say,
right?
hey Chauncey, listen, man,
And, and I'm not labeling Terry Rozier as a criminal, but from the NBA Players Association and all these leagues that you are not allowed to share insider information or participate in any gambling type situation. And if he knew that, then so be it. And his career should be sacrificed for his ignorance in doing that.
you
But I
nailed
will
something
say
though,
at this,
John. Hold on, you nailed something though. I want. I'm pausing because you nailed something with Terry Rozier, because you may or may not have heard. So allegedly, according to the reports, Terry Rozier told somebody that he wasn't going to play, or that there was
yeah,
some
he's
video
gonna
that he
leave
act
in
like
three or
he had
five
a
minutes
foot
to the
injury and took
game.
himself out of the
Right,
game. But
right,
the information he gave to somebody, allegedly, they
mhm,
went and then they bet, and
right,
supposedly it's like, hey man, you win, bring me the money. So
right,
that amount of money that he
right,
supposedly collected
right,
was $200,000. But
right,
this is a dude that probably made close to $100 million over his entire career.
right,
Well,
right.
tens of millions. So
Yeah, and
point making, just to amplify, you, to me, I mean, your accurate assessment and just critical thinking. It's like risk and reward, dude. Unless you really gone through all this money you made, you jeopardize that for
mhm,
200,000. That's a game check for him.
right. And so, I, I, I think that's important. I think as a sports fan, I don't bet on sports like that. I mean, I have a little bit in the past, but I like my money.
I hate
I feel
losing
like,
more than I love winning.
yeah, I feel like gambling is the dummy tax. You know what I'm saying? I feel like gambling and crypto kind of run the same way to me. I'm gonna give up my money for Bam Bams and Woozlewats. I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not gonna give up my hard-earned U.S. Treasury dollars for Bam Bam Whizzle Woozles. I don't. That has no value. It may have value on the internet, but I can't spend the internet when I go to Jewel to go buy food. Notice I said Jewel and not Jules because I may lose
It
my
is Jewel.
Chicago.
No, you're right. Chicago. It is Jewel.
It's Jewel,
It's
but
no S
everybody
on
in
it.
Chicago pronounces the grocery store as Jules. I'm
Well,
going
the
to
ones that can't
Jules.
talk, they say that because we would say Jewel, and
So
Nat Mariano's.
yeah, Dominic's
Yeah.
and all of those things. But really seriously, I'm curious to see what they have on Chauncey Billups. Uh Rozier, they have the list of games,
They got the
and all
video.
of the video, all types of things. And I think he's pretty much done. The other three individuals, I don't know too much about.
Damon Jones.
Okay, I'm not really
He
aware
played
because
with
I
LeBron in Cleveland, and he
yeah.
was an unpaid assistant with the Lakers. And allegedly, according to this news conference or the reports, is that, and I know LeBron and cut his ass off because LeBron don't play with no scandals.
Yeah.
Apparently, because they were free, and he was an unpaid assistant coach. I guess talking to LeBron, LeBron was like, "Hey, listen, you know what? I'm hurt. Some other guys, we're not gonna play. Just like you and I would talk." And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, Damon Jones went back and told them folks, "Hey, y'all invest some money because LeBron was just telling me that he ain't gonna be playing."
Yeah. Yeah. And I can imagine as an unpaid assistant, um, that
He
you
may
gotta
have
get
needed
your
that
paper.
money.
He may have needed to. It may make them payments to whoever
That
he
too.
owed that money to.
Right.
But I think on a bigger note, the discussion should probably move more to that we probably have a serious gambling problem within the country now that gambling is legal. And this kind of shows that it doesn't really matter what your socioeconomic status is that people are susceptible to making bad choices because of their addiction to gambling, particularly when you talk about the Chauncey Billups situation. That's the one that's kind of, weird. And the media is not necessarily doing a good job of separating them. And so I can understand, especially the black community, how they may feel that they're targeting the NBA because of the NBA stands for social justice issues and different things. And that's valid. But at the same time, you have people who are committing serious crimes and damaging the integrity to these games. And let's say you're a person in a fantasy pool. I mean, for some people, this is real dollars and cents. You're the person that bet with the Lakers. You're upset if you find out people are faking injuries and different things like that. But that kind of goes back to what we just had the conversation earlier, why I don't gamble, because to me in this country, gambling has always been backed. It can be the big shiny quote unquote casino that the state lets happen. But trust me, some of them people with them Sicilian last names is getting paid off that in some manner. And I'm not against what they do. I just know I don't want to be in debt. It's one thing to be in debt with student loans. It's a whole nother thing to be in debt with mafia and illegal people. And I would never want to have that situation because gambling usually leads to other things, stealing, drug abuse, all types of things. And so robbery, armed robbery, lying, stealing, all of those things, because you're going to constantly feed that. And it's great to win. We probably all have had the opportunity to win something, but it's when you gamble. I mean, I remember back when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield, I bet like $500 that Mike was gonna clean Holyfield's tag out. You don't know how hurt I was when I lost that.
You was hurt more than Mike Tyson
Yeah,
was.
I was upset, and I think that yeah, it can be recreational, but really, who is gambling recreational for? For people that can afford to lose that kind of money, and most gamblers can't afford to lose the money that they're betting. And so gambling on something ain't gonna fix. You need $300 to pay your light bill, and you take 150 of it to the track, and you come back with 50. Now you're in worse situation if you
Really
had
in a
just
hole.
paid that and negotiated with the light bill company. And so people make those kind of decisions, and it's unfortunate,
Hey, hey,
And
hey, fam. Let me say this because you were talking about how some in our culture in the community may say, "Well, you know what? They always targeting the black man."
hmm
Stop listening to Stephen A. And the A stands for asshole Smith. Okay, it was bad enough, between Serena, uh,
hmm
that he bitched out when Serena's husband. See, he got smoked for LeBron, but when the white dude all of a sudden he was stuttering and mumbling when Serena's husband kind of
hmm
confronted him right there. It was in the studio, and Stephen A.
hmm
went in the studio. So this whole thing about Stephen A. Smith with ESPN went on this rant.
hmm
Trump is coming, and the WNBA, you better look out because of social justice, and Trump is coming. Trump is coming. Trump did not start this investigation.
No, it
This
has been going on for.
investigation started when Joe Biden was president. So just
hmm
stop listening to Stephen A. Smith.
hmm
Sean pointed that out brilliantly. If you really,
hmm
we break it apart,
hmm
Chauncey Billups was like a honeypot. He was like
hmm Right.
the girl that draw the girl. Come on and so he was like
You're
the
gonna get
hook
to
for the poker
dance.
game.
Yeah, you're gonna get to play poker with Chauncey Billups, and it's a legal poker game. And yeah, and then so whether he knew that or not, that's for I like I said, I don't know much about his situation with that, but what I read, and it doesn't look good in comparison to the Terry Rozier stuff, which is completely wrong. And that also says that it's probably not endemic to sports.
Oh no.
but
Yeah.
it's probably like around 2 to 5% in these different situations, because I tend to believe, like, let's use the NFL. Well, yeah, let's use the NFL, because at least in the NBA, the pay structures is once you put in time, you're gonna make your money anyway if
And the
they keep on
contracts are
signing you.
guaranteed,
And the
unlike the
country, yeah, and they
NFL.
guarantee it. So, but in the NFL, can you imagine a player that was picked at like sixth round? They're making like 300, $400,000 a year. Yeah, that's a lot of money to the average person. But they're wearing their body out. They probably only got like 2 or 3 years to pay. And here you have an opportunity to get some buddies to put, several grand on games each week. And insider information, and you can make all that. It wouldn't be surprising that people wouldn't do that. It's similar to that in baseball. Similar to, it's the same thing as players taking performance enhancing drugs to increase their opportunity to make money, because they're playing a sport where your body is eventually going to run out and you're not going to be able to do that. I'm not justifying it. It's still wrong. I'm not saying it shouldn't be prosecuted. I don't care who's in charge. But what I'm simply saying is when you look at it from the perspective of the athlete, and thank God now in college, there's an opportunity where the playing field is a little even, where college athletes can get NIL deals, and get paid for their likeliness, because the university is making millions of dollars, especially these big SEC
Billions,
schools, Big
yes.
Ten. They're making billions off the TV deal. And so I feel like it's okay for that money to be dispersed. But here's the problem. Once you start injecting money and gambling into all of these things, you invite the nefarious characters. Like I said, I doubt it if there's a casino in the country outside of the Native Americans that hold casinos, and who knows, even with them, that the mafia doesn't have their hands in. And there's two mafias you always have to deal with in America: the illegal one and the IRS, because they are the real mafia. And so, people need to recognize and understand that. And I'm sure this is not going to be the first of these things, or it hasn't been the first, because ever since gambling has been legalized throughout the states over the last 2 or 3 years, all the sporting leagues have seen an influx of players and coaches and all types of people being indicted. You brought up the referee. That was
John
back
Elway.
in the day. Yeah, that was back in the day where the mob took the bet. So you went to a bookie
Yes.
to do that. So that means some mafia bookie entity approached him with a deal he couldn't refuse. And so, I mean, that's the reality of it all. And, you know,
And because he bet on games, he probably got in the hole, like you said.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And somebody said, like, "Hey, man, you owe all this money.
Why don't you do this for us?
We're gonna have to, we gonna have to get our money back one way or another. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want to do?" But
Right.
here's another problem, and I talked about it, Sean. All of college sports, major college sports, and every major sports league, soccer, and all of it, they have they are in bed with these sports betting. They taking the money
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
partnerships with the
Yeah.
networks. Like I said, ESPN. You see the commercials on Fox. I'm sure you see them on
Mm-hmm.
the World Series tonight. The
Mm-hmm.
NBA,
Mm-hmm.
NFL, Major League Baseball, college
Mm-hmm.
sports. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's almost hypocrisy. So you run this story, oh, this is horrible, but then at the end of this news story, oh, there's a commercial for ESPN Bet. You can bet
Right.
about
Right.
it.
Right. You can like I said, you can almost bet on anything in sports wise, I just saw somewhere earlier today a friend of mine won some money on betting on the Chicago Fire for soccer. They hadn't won a playoff game in like 10, 12 years. And so, I mean, yeah, it can be fun. I can remember, even though Kamel told me not to, us betting on Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, when I knew in
Oh,
my instinct to take Jake Paul, and I didn't. I took Mike Tyson, but it was fun. I think it's similar to when people pay the lottery. Like, my
yes.
rule about it is I don't play the lotto unless it's like
Right. And when he gets to
like
a
a bunch
million
of
dollars,
money.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah, let me go on and participate. Who knows? I may win that, and then you won't see me no more.
exactly. Yeah. the mayors already know. We are look. We got a plan. We got bags packed.
Yeah, you won't see me no more.
They're like, damn, Geno show. He was man. It was on fire. He used to have his brother Sean Mitchell and all these
I
great
won't
guys.
even have a Facebook page, LinkedIn, nothing. I disappear.
Hey, I'm gonna be
You,
like, I'm gonna be like, wait a minute, in Enemy of the State, Gene Hackman. Was it Gene Hackman?
mm,
I'm gonna be like, you ain't no signal gonna come into my.
no, no, I'm out. So I get it, and that's why I say. But I think everybody needs to, you know, some people need to be a little bit controlled because gambling is one of those top addictions that is hard to shake.
Very hard.
And you have to be concerned about that. I can remember my days at Grambling State University where we thought it was cool to be shooting dice in the hallway and stuff, and winning money, and then seeing people fight over money. I was like, oh, I'm out that.
Yeah.
What I'm
No,
saying?
I
I'm
know it.
done.
It's
I'm done.
ironic though, Sean. Did you? I'm sure I know you, so I know you noticed it, but I'm just bringing it up.
Hmm.
This whole 30 people indicted,
Hmm.
but the only faces that we saw on this corporate entertainment propaganda media was three black folks. Now,
Yeah.
supposedly, La Costa Nostra was involved, and you saw the names of the families, the Genovese and Lucia, Lucchese or whatever. But I ain't seen none of them. I ain't seen no mafioso looking. The only faces that we saw, the only video was the perp walks were of three black men.
Yeah, 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 and it has a lot to do with the current administration and how they operate, and that's not shocking, that would happen, and I totally understand how people feel about that. I get that. I tend to believe they would have been perp walk no matter who was in charge. I think if
Oh, I know.
Biden, and the reason has more to do. Yeah, race plays a factor, but it has more to do about setting the integrity of sports. If you can get away with influencing it, then it kind of destabilizes what the government is trying to do, similar to marijuana. They don't want illegal marijuana sales because what did I say? They want they cut. Same thing with the gambling. They don't want illegal gambling going on or influence because it disrupts their cut. And so at the end of the day, it's not surprising for crimes like that. And I think it's pretty commonplace now, that yeah, this current corporate media and influence media is all about clicks
There you
and
go. Thank you. That's where I was.
salaciousness. And so a lot of times I even find some of my favorite, I'm not going to name them, but some of my favorite YouTube podcasts that I've been watching since, even when they were on radio, now put these like clickbait, uh, um, chyrons and clickbait descriptions of what the show is about.
Oh, I've
You know,
seen
it'll
that.
still be
Okay,
one
so
that'll say like Trump, it flips out over
no,
this.
no. I,
And
I,
then
I
you
and I
read
know
it and you
exactly what
watch
you're
it and you
talking
go
about.
like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, that ain't really that.
And
That wasn't
I
none.
don't think it would be throwing shade, but no, I know who you're talking about. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I just tend to, I think that on other people's platforms and how you talk about things, I just tend to just keep it like that. I'm observant and I try to share it. I even share it with my students. And, students, um, when they try to do research and stuff, they love to go to YouTube. And so in my class, you're not allowed to use like a podcaster or something as a source. It's no disrespect to podcasters, but this is an academic institution, and
that's
to
great.
speak
No,
in
look,
lo-
you know what? I am happy to hear you say that as an educator. I think that's important.
Yeah, yeah, because I think the problem in society right now is people don't understand sources and
Yes.
understand information, and to be able to analyze and critically look at information. I met with a student earlier today, and discussing the class, and they were saying how they enjoy the class, and they're like glad that it's like that. And I said, my job is not to teach you what to think; it's to teach you how to critically think.
Right.
And
I,
so that's the most important part
I,
to all of that.
I think it's great. Like as a lawyer, if you go in a courtroom and if you're going to cite a certain case or precedents, you got to actually read. You got to go find the books and read.
Hmm.
Okay, this is in 1968, Dunn versus Jones, so and so.
Right.
You got to cite
AI
your
is
sources.
AI is not going to help you,
Right.
and I think a lot of people think that it will. There's been several law firms and lawyers that have been sanctioned by courts for using AI programs or Chat GBT
Really?
to type briefs. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yes. It
I didn't know
happens.
that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, AI is so prevalent now. Um, that people don't understand. It is a tool that you use similar to spell check and grammar. It is not designed to do the work for you. And so a lot of people think that, oh, I can just ask AI a question. Well, AI is only as good as the sources it collects information from.
Who's feeding that
Yeah, and
AI?
professors like me get information and make you research, look up and write about information that AI probably doesn't have access to.
That's right.
I mean, and so, and trust me, academia is adjusting to all of these things. There's ways that we can pick up on it, and I'm sure there's programming and stuff. I don't use any particular programming in my class, but there is programming I have access to that I can run papers through. And so I think that's important. So yeah, with all of those things happening, I can understand and how this administration operates, how they go after people like Letitia James and James Comey. And let me say this, they went after Letitia James and James Comey. Those two were malicious prosecutions. But Bolton, I don't know. And here's the problem with his situation.
And let everybody who's John Bolton.
John Bolton worked in the Trump administration, Trump one administration. There was a big falling out. Bolton wrote a book. When you write a book, after you have worked in government, it's vetted. It passed through the vetting. Now, what they went after him on is the evidence that they collected. It looks like he dealt with information that he was allowed to talk about, but what he did was he kept these contemporaneous notes. And so I don't know, depending on what your job is, I know for me in legal, when we have meetings, people are taking notes. I know when we have faculty meetings, we're taking notes. Most of you work at a place, if you have a meeting, somebody's taking notes. And most attorneys always take contemporaneous notes, or people that are involved in government. And you may write a summary back for the meeting that you sent out to everybody or whatever. But basically, what he did, he took notes and then he sent them via text to or email to his daughter and wife to type them up for him. Well, there is a legal issue with that, is that you are discussing government information or government meetings or possibly classified information. I don't know, because I haven't read his indictment, but I do know what he's been accused of, to some extent. That if he did that, yeah, he's in a strong situation for legal jeopardy.
Okay.
You can't do that. Uh, but is it to the extent that he would spend any serious jail time, whether he can't? Yeah, I don't think it's like that. The Comey and the Letitia James is just malicious, especially Letitia James. She didn't commit mortgage fraud. She has documents to verify that. It looks like that's going to be eventually tossed out. And then the James Comey situation is similar situation where it's already been said in another court that, that's not what happened. And it has everything to do with Trump being vindictive about those things. So those things will play out. It's a strong possibility that the Halligan prosecutor that's been assigned mind is probably going to be tossed out because Pam Bondi only has one opportunity to appoint an interim attorney to a particular district. She already did that, and Trump fired that attorney when he wouldn't go after Comey. And so Letitia James and James Comey are both filing dismissals of the prosecution. And here's the problem, especially in, I think, Letitia James' case, but it might be James Comey too. Um, Halligan is the only attorney that signed off on the charges. So
Yes.
if she's can't cover it, then it looks like the court would dismiss those cases. I don't know whether it would be with prejudice or without prejudice. You know, with prejudice meaning you can't bring it back, without meaning you can retry it again, but a different attorney has to try it. And like I said, with Letitia James, it's very flimsy. With James Comey, it's probably about the same. And so I don't think those will make it. Bolton is probably going to go through the entire process. And we'll see. I have no love for Bolton.
Me either.
You know, I don't think anybody's rights should be violated, but I just remember him and his white mustache on Fox talking crazy about President Barack Obama.
Yes.
So for me, when it comes to him, I'm kind of like, okay. And it sounds to me, just as a lawyer, it sounds like you did do something that wasn't exactly above board, even as minor as it might be, especially if it's true that you sent these documents and handwritten notes to your wife and daughter. You know you can't do that. The only other legal thing that I think it'll be interesting to see how the judge in Illinois takes in all this information that she's been seeing over the last few days with them shooting tear gas. And in California, in Oakland last night or a day ago, they shot another pastor in the face with tear gas, and how ICE has increased its aggressive tactics. So we'll see how that plays out. I got a feeling here in Illinois, because now two Illinois federal judges have basically went after ICE about their tactics. We'll see how that all plays out. I got a feeling that she's going to give a permanent restraining order against the National Guard being deployed to Chicago because of ICE creating the tensions. And we all know that's what they're trying to do, create those tensions. So yeah, that's pretty much
So
everything
elections
that
matter.
I've
I don't know. Are any of
gathered
these
in
judges,
legally.
are they elected or appointed?
No, federal judges are appointed. It's a lifetime appointment. And
Right.
then usually what happens is they go on they go on like the senior circuit where they really don't cover stuff, but they're still there. So yeah, once you're appointed federal judge, unless you're impeached or you pass away, that's a lifetime appointment.
But the point I was trying to make for those,
So
well,
they don't
man,
have that.
I don't vote. I don't do politics. I said, well, politics do you. This is an example. Elections matter because if you elect
Yeah.
somebody that sees
Mm,
our common humanity, they will appoint judges
mm,
who will see our common
mm-hmm,
humanity. And if not,
mm-hmm.
we know the situation we're living in now.
Right, exactly. And that's the key, because federal judges have to be confirmed by the Senate. And that's why elections matter, because if you give the next Democratic president like a 57, 58 seats in the Senate, there's a lot more judges that you can get through like that. The last time we saw that under a Democratic president was President Obama's first 2 years of his term, where he had full control of the government. And you notice we didn't have a shutdown. He was kind of cleaning up the mortgage
Good
failure,
point. Save the
dealing
auto
with
industry,
ending two
save
wars,
Wall
saving the
Street.
auto street, yeah, the housing industry, all of those things. So I think you, people really need to plan on what it looks like after this.
I
And
agree.
you can start making those plans in states that are voting, like New York for mayor, in Virginia and New Jersey here in November, and
Governors, yep.
then governors. And then you can start looking at 2026 to really start making some inroads, try to pick up a few Senate seats. and regain the House. And then you start looking towards 2028 and you start saying, hey, while you keep maintaining the states and pick up the other thing that we don't need to forget is that it's important to get power in these states because you see some states are attempting their forms of redistricting. So we need to start looking at some of the state races and the local races and the governors races too. I think as a country as a whole, sometimes hype we fixate on the federal offices, but all politics, rule number one of politics, all politics are local. And so it starts with the school board, the dog catcher, your mayor, your Congress, your state representative, your state senator,
Local
your
judges.
your judges, your Supreme Court in your state,
Attorney
your
generals.
generals, your secretary of state. To give you how important Secretary of State, you know from the last elections, the Secretary of State can protect your right to vote. But just even current now here in Illinois, there's a viral video of our Secretary of State warning ICE not to remove plates from their car because it's a violation of state law,
Oh,
and that they will be prosecuted and
oh.
arrested for doing that. And so Illinois is using all the levers of state power to go after federal officials, which is totally legal. Federal officials cannot arbitrarily violate state law.
I love
And
it.
so
That's why we got this brother here. Hey,
people
listen,
need
you
to keep.
mentioned 2028. All right,
Hmm.
I want to get your take. And
Hmm.
everything this fool is doing is distraction. Release these Epstein files and return those subsidies so people can afford health insurance through Obamacare and
Hmm.
get rid of the cuts. Take that $1 trillion. Elon is good. Him and Jeff Bezos, they'll be all right. They don't need a tax cut.
Hmm.
Mark
Hmm.
Zuckerberg. But you get guys like Steve Bannon that's doing this tough talk. Well, Trump is going to run for it third term in 2028, and
Hmm.
it's like, is it? Am I right? It's the 24th Amendment basically that says that you you can't run for a third term. That after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the laws were changed where, because I think he
Hmm.
ran 4 consecutive terms, if I'm right.
Yeah, he did. He did. He
So
did.
so what is that going? I don't know how are they going to try to finagle that and just
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I think they're attempting to say consecutive terms, which wouldn't make any sense because if you're saying consecutive terms, then let's say they try to pull it off, then I'm sure President Obama would run for the sake of all of us,
that's where
because
I
then
was
that
going.
opens it up for him to run. So I think that right now is just rhetoric.
Well, Sean,
Um,
does the amendment specifically say?
I haven't read it, but I'm
I
under
saw
the
it the other day. I
assumption
gotta look for that, but I don't
I,
think.
I'm under the assumption that if it was designed to prevent you from having more than two terms, the language in it means you can't have more than two terms. And
Period.
remember, these amendments are ratified by the states, and so it's not
Yes.
just people making laws in Congress. The states ratify these laws
So
and the
to
amendments.
so I'm glad you said that point because I heard that somewhere. So that would mean in theory, just we gonna war game this out, thought exercise to try to legally change this. You would have to get what two? Is it two
Two
thirds
thirds of two-thirds. Well, actually, all the
of
states
the states
have
have
to
to do it?
ratify an
Okay.
amendment. It just ain't no two-thirds. So, for instance, there is an amendment that has not been ratified, and I think it runs out the Women Equal Rights Amendment or something.
Okay.
And I think it's like 3 or 5 red states that they haven't gotten it through, or they're like within one state, so it may be two-thirds. I can't remember. I have to look at it. I think it is two-thirds now that I think about it, because they're one state away from this amendment being able to happen if it hasn't timed out. It was passed in the 70s, but it has never been ratified. And so that I think it's two-thirds of the states. Yeah,
But now,
two-thirds.
but for this 24th Amendment, it would take, was it, is it, I heard 1 3/4. It would basically take amount of state legislators.
No, the
What,
24th Amendment means you cannot run. He'd
period,
have
full
to,
stop. That's what,
yeah,
okay.
he'd have to sue, and I don't see the Supreme Court taking it up. he can try it, but states would probably not put him on the ballot because he's ineligible to run. And he'd have I don't know what his legal argument outside of him not having two consecutive, but I know that's not what it doesn't say anything like that.
Yes,
It
I didn't
says
think
two
so either because I've
terms.
looked at it the other
And
day.
so it's two terms. You're not allowed more than two terms.
And
So
like you
that
say,
all sounds like,
bluster.
yeah. And Steve Bannon, you got to remember, he comes from Breitbart, or not too bright group. And so, I think that, he's the dirty old man that's standing on the corner screaming, playing with his wang wang.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
he
that's all he
looks like
is.
a dirty, grimy dude.
Yeah, yeah.
No
So
beard, don't
I
shave.
tend to ignore him because he's just a sycophant, and that's just what it is. And one day it'll all end because he doesn't look that healthy either. So it won't be long. Um, so it won't be long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all of that, is Trump being Trump. And I tend not to spend too much time on Trump being Trump because I knew Trump was Trump before 2016.
Yeah.
And so now nothing he said, all of it is distract, deflect, avoid consequences. And we'll see how it all plays out. I think the best thing everybody can do is what they did is get in the streets, vote. And I would urge to support your monologue. I wouldn't spend a dime on nothing. Tell your grandbabies, your kids, hey, this is tough. Trump killed Christmas, and don't get them nothing. And then and leave it at that, and let some of the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Apple, when you're gonna go buy that new phone, let
Yes.
some of them feel the pain for choosing to give 200 and some $1 million to somebody for a ballroom and just trying to feed people that are about to lose their SNAP benefits. I did read before I came on the show that Republican Congresswoman from, I want to say, Nebraska, is introducing legislation to get the money for SNAP benefits. Now, what I would say to the Democrats is I would vote to pay the SNAP benefits because I think that it's not a good look that you're voting against feeding people. Um, I get not paying for the military, um, to show them that there's consequences when you pick an inept leader in charge. Although I hate to see that happen to the military families. And I wouldn't mind even seeing that coupled with the military families to make sure they eat and all of those things.
Right.
But beyond that, I wouldn't pass any CR until the healthcare subsidies are guaranteed, and then I would put a clause in there that they need to go through 2027
Yeah,
and be done with
and
that.
reverse those Medicare and Medicaid because that's what
Yeah.
I was going to point out because you worked with Senator Dick Durbin, so you
Hmm.
understand in a very intimate way, professionally and politically, that the
Yeah.
devil's in the details, and they can put
Yeah.
things the term poison pill. So say, yeah, well, we're gonna make sure that everybody gets SNAP benefits, but we're gonna get rid of the subsidies, and then we're gonna, the cuts for Medicaid and the subsidies for Obamacare cuts are going to be permanent.
And,
So,
and, and all of these things are courtesy of the big beautiful bill. Some of these things wouldn't be happening if he didn't cut these programs, USAID, mess with the Department of Education, scholarships, DEI, all these different things. The research in the CDC, and they're spending all the money. They're spending, I think it's ICE's budget went up like 700%. They're buying weapons, doing all those things. And so that is why I think that all of this needs to be stopped right now until, they can negotiate all those things. But yeah, we're nowhere near out of the woods. In fact, we're only like, what, 10 months in?
yeah, I
So it's
know.
going to be so you figure you win the elections a year from now, you still will have like
2 years of this
60
bullshit.
days to get it, to get control. And then you go through the next 2 years because that'll instantly start the beginning of the presidential campaign for
Hmm.
2028.
Yeah.
And so you will have all of those things coming at us at the same time. And I just want people to kind of keep focused. This is a long term thing. Those of you that didn't vote or voted for him, hey, this one can't be fixed overnight. You had a chance to stop it and you let it happen. So here we are.
Yep.
And that means it's punishing not only people that voted for him, but people that didn't vote for him or people that didn't vote, because we all on the same ship. If it's sinking, it ain't just sinking on my end, and we all gonna sink in it. So I think that's what people hopefully they realize now, and turn up the heat with more action, more boycotts, more protests, more showing up at town halls, more writing these people, more getting in ICE face, more of all of it, because you cannot go silent now.
And I need to say this to
Mhm.
everybody that's watching live or whenever you're watching this show. I don't know if I could call him Nostradamus, but this man on camera, he knows where I'm about to go. I, right around 10 years ago, this is when the whole 2016, the run up to the 2016 election. I do recall having a conversation where this brother that handsome face that you just see disappear, you see his picture on screen, he'll be back. He was saying, you know what? Maybe this dude should go ahead and win so people can feel the pain that they would even entertain this. And, maybe America needs to. I'm paraphrasing what you said,
Pain
Charles.
is the best teacher.
Yep, you said, I'm paraphrasing what you said. Well, maybe America needs to go through, what we're going through now for them to wake up. But, you know,
Hmm.
I didn't want to see that, and you didn't either. But I do remember we had that conversation. You're like, no, they need to. Y'all want this?
Yeah.
Y'all should.
Yeah, you when you ask, I was taught that when you ask for things in the universe, it will grant them to you. And so many people, 81 million, because I'm reminded every time I see a press conference from dude, 81 million people wanted this.
Well, we
About
only got
another
77
50,
million this year.
yeah. Well, I think I just saw today they said the total was something closer to like 80, 81. So
Boy, I have to
you know,
consider that. So how the hell it jumped from 77 to 80? Get the fuck
because
out.
yeah, who knows?
No,
But we
get the
know,
fuck out.
we can say that through the results and what's happening now, he won.
Yeah.
But they wanted that. The 60 million that didn't vote obviously wanted it,
Oh, no,
and there's
90.
like
No, 90
70
million that didn't
million
vote.
of us that didn't want it. Yeah, the
70 to
70 of us,
75 million
70
plus
million that
didn't want
didn't
it.
want this.
90 million just
You're
tapped
right,
out.
and so they gave up, and so this is the results of it. I don't like it. Don't want it to be like that, but hopefully what I'm seeing is and what I tend to watch is that people are really upset. Some of that pain is coming home, whether you're a farmer, whether you're a longshoreman, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're taking care of your elderly parents. It's all coming. Whether you lose your job, it's all coming. Whether you had a good business going on and all of the price of eggs, you voted for him. And
Now the price
yeah,
of
the
eggs is
eggs went
more.
down. Yeah, and everything else is high. Inflation is at 3% right now. So here we are. You got to weather the storm. Black people have been strong because this ain't our first struggle, but yeah, it's
Shit,
it's
when
it's
have we
it's
not
tight.
struggled in America?
Yeah, yeah.
Name
Yeah, as a
me.
collective, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Individually, maybe not,
yeah. But
but
collectively,
as a
yeah.
collective, yeah, as a collective, yeah. Because I grew up during Reagan, and my grandfather worked, had a great job. My mother was in the military. The 70s, 80s, 90s was pretty sweet, you know.
But you were
Uh,
blessed, and unfortunately, some
yeah, right.
people in your family weren't as blessed as you. So
You're very right. And it also they taught me about community service and helping other people because I was blessed to have what I have. And that continues to go on. So,
well,
yep.
speaking of helping the community, I can't let you out of here. Rep your sweatshirt. your school is homecoming weekend
Oh
for
yeah, that's right, Grambling.
many HBCUs. So shout
Hmm.
out to all the HBCUs and all the Divine Nine and all the Greeks, brothers and
Yeah,
sisters.
Gramblings is the first week in November. They're in Vegas this week playing the Jackson State Tigers. So Grambling, the real Tigers beat up on those baby cats. I need that. I need that to happen. I need that to happen.
So you all's homecoming is next.
It's 2 weeks
2 weeks
from
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. We play Pine Bluff. I think, yeah. Is it UAP? No, we play Alabama State at home this year.
So I heard. I think Morehouse's homecoming. I think is or Howard's is this
Yeah.
weekend. I know there's a classic. Alabama State and Alabama A&M are playing this
Yeah.
weekend. So
I think that's in Birmingham or
yeah,
Atlanta, one of
yep,
those places.
yep. Legion Field
Yeah,
in Birmingham.
yeah, yes, and yeah. So yeah, I'm a SWAC person. So yeah, I usually watch that. I'm in a couple of the SWAC groups with people arguing. Prairie View is looking good this year, which is highly unusual, but okay, Prairie View. I ain't mad at you.
Hey, listen, I know
And
you
but
weren't in.
FAMU is looking bad this year.
Yeah,
So
and
that's the other
their
thing.
president, that's a whole nother show. But I just wanted to shout out.
Yeah,
Grambling is in Louisiana, so this is not a school in.
yeah.
This is a school in New Orleans, but I just wanted to shout them out. I think is it Xavier? They are
Xavier and Dillard and Southern
right,
are, well, Southern has a campus in New Orleans, but Southern is in Baton Rouge. But
right,
yes, Dillard
and
and
Xavier.
Xavier, and they have Southern New Orleans. Those are the three HBCUs in New Orleans that I can think of right off the top of my head.
So I'm mentioning Southern because I heard this morning that I think in 2027, you've probably heard this too. They will officially open their medical school to
Yeah,
train
yeah,
medical doctors.
yeah. That's always been a good thing. Grambling has the nursing school.
Oh,
And
they do. I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, they had the nursing school, and Southern got the law and the medical school. So I think that's good. A lot of states kind of pare down things amongst, especially with the HBCUs. Try to not, because a lot of them are state funded schools, so trying to not clash with grad programs. They try to spread out the money, because when you build a medical school, and there's a lot of money finna come into Baton Rouge. But boo the Jags. I don't like
I was I mean,
them.
celebrating.
They fired their football coach. They're 1-6
Oh
right
yeah,
now for
that's true.
any
I saw that.
Jaguars out there. Hey,
But we need more. We need more black doctors. So I
yeah, I'm
was
happy
excited.
for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy.
And Mackenzie
Oh yeah,
Scott.
no question, no
Shout out
question.
to
I'm happy for them. I mean, the rivalry extends to the football.
Yeah. So, all right, listen, man. Have a great weekend. We appreciate it. Give you the last
You
word.
too,
Any final
brother.
thoughts? Because the enemy's busy. I see the shot trying to freeze up, but I'm gonna give you
Just
the
stay
last word.
strong, everybody.
All right.
Yeah, stay strong, everybody, and keep your money in your pocket.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Mitchell. All right, love you, family. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk. Let me get back on camera. Here we go. All right. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Tell everybody to please subscribe to the channel, share this and every episode. You can share, you can tag everybody that you follow or know on social media. Like this and every episode, screenshot, grab some of the video, and please leave your comments in the comments section below. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by CojoLLC.com, CojoLLC.com. Courtney Johnson. If you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the Carolinas, yes, Courtney Johnson, she is the person for you. Tell her you were watching the Geno Jones Show and you're looking to buy a home. You live in the Carolinas. Maybe you're tired of the cold weather in the Midwest or up, the East Coast, up New York, that way, Boston. Or people in the South say up north. come on down south. Come on down to the Carolinas. 843 area code, once again, 543-4022 or COJOLLC.com. You can reach you there too. All right. And if you'd like to be a sponsor or advertise on the show with my media company, I would be honored to have you. You can reach me via my email address, GenoJonesShow@gmail.com. That's how you spell Geno Jones Show. If you would like to financially support the show, it's so important we support Black-owned media, so you can financially support this show, my media company, 2 ways. You can support it or offer, just a love offering, a financial gift. You can use Zelle using my email address, GenoJonesShow@gmail.com, all one word, GenoJonesShow@gmail.com, or you can Cash App $ Dad G Jones, all one word, $ capital D, lowercase a d, capital G J, lowercase ONES. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you live Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. My guest is going to be U.S. Representative. He's out of California, Ro Khanna. I'm really excited to have him on the show Monday. It's going to be a great conversation.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.